When the first trailer for Ghost of Yotei dropped late last year, a lot of people who are fans of Ghost of Tsushima were a little bit concerned that this sequel will be going down the woke route. Now, there's a lot of reasons as to why people think that, but up to this point, they've been just dismissed as a vocal minority of people online and they don't matter. But apparently it's gotten to the point now where the directors of Ghost of Yotei were asked directly about these accusations and they felt it was necessary to respond. Ghost of Yotei directors respond to accusations that the game is woke. Ghost of Yotei directors Jason Connell and Nate Fox responded to accusations that the game is woke, specifically due to their choice to have a female protagonist succeed Jin Sake from Ghost of Tsushima. Now, I want to put a pause on it right here just to address this accusation right here, because people weren't saying that the game is woke specifically because it's just a female protagonist. Obviously, that drew a lot of attention when the game first launched, but people weren't really concerned about it right away. The biggest concern came a little bit after the trailer first launched, when people started looking into it a bit further and saw that the voice actress behind this, Erika Ishii, was someone you would pretty much label as an activist, and I don't think that's me attributing anything to her that she wouldn't also claim herself. And then when people were noticing that, they're thinking okay, if you're gonna hire someone like this to be working on your game as the lead voice actor for it, that kind of sends up a red flag. Now, granted, the voice actor doesn't really have much say in the creative aspect of the game, but when a studio is willing to hire someone like this and put them front and center, it usually suggests that at the very least their ideology is commonplace enough at the studio so it doesn't really draw attention, but at worst it really suggests that this is the route they're going to go. Now, I even said at the time that this isn't necessarily going to mean that the game's going to be woke or anything like that, but it is a cause for concern. But there has been other cause for concern, and the directors of this not necessarily addressing those accusations or those claims is a bit concerning. Now, we don't know anything about this at this point, but just listen to what they're saying, because just trying to claim that people think it's woke because it has a female protagonist just kind of shows that they don't actually understand what the criticism for the game actually is. In an interview with Variety, the two directors were asked, some accused the game of being woke when Atsu was revealed as the main character. Why was a female protagonist the right choice for the story? Again, they're not actually addressing the criticism. That's not why people were saying the game's going woke. It was other reasons that I'll get to more in a moment. Connell answered, we knew we had all these fans who love Tsushima. We want to carry all of those fans forward into an exciting new adventure. We're creating, we're creatives. We like to make new things. We like to make exciting new pieces of art and move people in a new way. We want to make a sequel that's fresh but familiar. Now, all that right there, I think, are admirable characteristics. You don't want to just make a sequel, which is essentially just the first game just done differently or just done again. So I can applaud them for trying to do something different. Even having a new character in it, I don't have any problem with that. I don't even have a problem with a female character. But like I said, the fact that they're not actually addressing any of the criticism for the voice actor and some of this other criticism for the game, I think is a cause for concern. Nate and I are pretty enamored with making origin stories, and certainly one that we could find a way to make them feel like a bit of an underdog in this landscape. He continued, this is pretty dangerous landscape, which positions her to be an excellent person for that. This is somebody that we would, that people would not expect to be so powerful. Yet here she is on this romp of a vengeance quest, which is probably pretty unexpected for some people. Over time, she'll get the name the Onryo because the Japanese folk legend is an unkillable vengeance-seeking ghost, and that's just an awesome fit. Onryo are typically stories of vengeful vengeance from females, so that seems like a really nice package for this, he concluded. You know what, and I actually agree with that, and like I said previously, I don't have a problem with having a female protagonist, but like I said, with the voice actor, that's a bit of a red flag, but not a deal breaker from my perspective. But some of the things that I think are most concerning is just the claims that these are rumors, mind you, but still the claims that they had a story that was supposed to revolve around a continuation of Jin Saka from the first game, where he was still known as the ghost, but they changed it in order to appeal to more of a female demographic. And when you're changing things in the 11th hour in order to try to appease a certain demographic of activists, well, then that's when I think like, okay, something might be wrong with this. And this is coming from reports late last year. Sucker Punch gutted and repurposed Ghost of Tsushima sequel for Ghosts of Yotei. Now, like I said, some of the stuff in this article from October of last year are speculative, or not necessarily speculative, but some of them are rumors from anonymous sources. So you could take them with a pinch of salt. But other stuff here that has been confirmed and could be verified is a little bit concerning. So a lot of this information comes from Endymion, who says, according to his sources, the Japanese developers working on this are not really happy with how they, what does it say? So Japan is pissed off about being kept in the dark over the sudden changes in the game. He added, it does seem there is a huge disconnect between what Sucker Punch knew about this Ghost sequel versus what Sony's PR teams knew. And it's basically saying the game was supposed to be a continuation of the first one. Before they decided to change the main character to a female character. He would like to, before when I reported on Yotei last, the game was indeed supposed to be Ghost of Tsushima 2 with Jin Sake as the main character. This has been confirmed to me by at least sources, and I was told the skeleton of Tsushima 2 is what is largely being used to create Yotei into what it is now. I would assume that likely Jin would come to Mount Yotei, and then this is where he would be facing the next Mongol threat. But within the past 2 years, something has definitely changed at Sucker Punch. Now, this is all rumors right here, so like I said, you can take it with a pinch of salt. But one thing that is for sure, one thing that is verifiable are the people who came to Sucker Punch after the game already started development. Endymion then shared information provided to him by his sources regarding a number of individuals who joined Sucker Punch around the last 2 years or so. First, he pointed to Jen Lee Lukin, who began work at Sucker Punch in March 2022 as a producer. He then pointed to Adriana Martinez, a senior writer and narrative designer for Sucker Punch, who joined the company in May 2023. He also pointed to Courtney Woods, who joined Sucker Punch as a senior staff writer in September 2022. Finally, he pointed to Kelly Snyder, who became a senior producer at Sucker Punch in September 2023. Given when these individuals joined the company, Endymion stated, as you'll notice as I show these other examples, these writers and such, they all came into the project rather late into production on Yotei, almost as if the game was something else entirely before it became Yotei. So that's basically what the accusations are here. It was supposed to be a sequel to the first game, and then these women who joined the project late into it, who actually have a track record of pushing more activist messaging at stuff that they've at studios that they previously worked at, and their joining of Sucker Punch can be verified through their LinkedIn profiles and other measures like that. And then after they joined Sucker Punch, well, then it's said that suddenly they changed the story to focus more on a female character, and then you hire more of an activist type person to voice the character. And that's the cause for concern. I really wish they would have addressed that, whether or not there was a story that was initially planned for Jin in the second game, and it was supposed to be more like a Ghost of Tsushima 2 or more something along those lines. And then they changed it to this. If that's not the case, then I think they should have said, like, no, this was always been the story that they wanted to tell with a female protagonist, but they really haven't confirmed one way or the other. Now, I'm not saying with 100% certainty that the game is going to go down the woke route. I think they've earned a lot of goodwill from the previous game, but having it go along this line, I really want to put it past it, because there were elements of like the typical or the stereotypical strong female character in the first game. So maybe it's possible that they're just going to be expanding on that to a point where it's going to be like more of on the woke route. But just because it's doing that, I'm just going to preface it, doesn't necessarily mean the game is going to be bad. The game could still very well be good while they're really pushing that strong female approach. Or it could just be fine. People are looking too much into this. But I can understand why people these days and why gamers and fans of the first game would be a little bit concerned with a lot of the stuff that's been going on surrounding this game, because we've seen a lot of studios in the past several years do the exact same thing, where they put out a good game that people love, and then the follow-ups are going down that more woke route that alienate a large section of the audience that previously loved the first game. So we really won't know more about this until the game finally does launch. But right now, I'm taking kind of a cautious approach to it, not saying one way or the other what the game's going to be doing, but it's not really getting me super excited looking at what's been going on in the gaming industry these last several years, except for the fact that a lot of the games that have been pushing these type of messaging have been failing, which has led some studios to understand like, okay, this isn't a good approach to things. So let's just try to make something that fans want and we'll be successful that way. So maybe that's what they're going to do with this one. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.